A city of cultures. Nestled in the heart of the Balkans, Sarajevo was a city where cultures intertwined like the rivers that flowed through its valleys. Minarets stood beside church spires, the scent of fresh burek mingled with the aroma of Turkish coffee, and echoes of history whispered through its cobbled streets. The city bore the marks of Ottoman, Austro-Hungarian, and Yugoslav influences, creating a unique tapestry of traditions, languages, and customs. Walking through Sarajevo's streets, one could hear a blend of Bosnian, Turkish, and even German words spoken by locals and visitors alike. The architecture told its own story. Ottoman-era fountains stood near elegant Austro-Hungarian buildings, while war-scarred structures served as silent reminders of resilience. The people of Sarajevo embraced this diversity, celebrating Bajram and Christmas with equal warmth, gathering in cafes where generations debated philosophy and politics over thick cups of Bosnian coffee. Despite the city's turbulent history, Sarajevo remained a place where East met West harmoniously, where synagogues, mosques, Orthodox and Catholic churches coexisted within mere steps of one another. It was a city of survival and rebirth, its cultural vibrancy undiminished by the passage of time. A historian's discovery. Emina, a young historian, had always been fascinated by her city's layered past. She spent her days at the Gazi Huzrev Beg Library, poring over ancient manuscripts and deciphering forgotten stories. The quiet halls of the library, lined with centuries-old texts, were her sanctuary, a place where the echoes of the past spoke to those who were willing to listen. One evening, as she turned the brittle pages of an old diary, she found something that sent a shiver down her spine. A personal account from 1914, written by a shopkeeper who had unknowingly witnessed the moments before the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The diary, hidden away in the library's archives, had remained unread for decades, its secrets locked within the fading ink and yellowed pages. As she read further, she found detailed observations about the people who frequented the shop, their conversations, and the tense atmosphere in the days leading up to the fateful event. The words painted a vivid picture of a city unknowingly standing on the precipice of history. Emina felt an overwhelming sense of connection, as if she had stepped through time and was standing beside the shopkeeper, watching history unfold before her eyes. The shopkeeper's account. The shopkeeper Isaac described a young man, his face drawn with tension, pacing the Latin bridge. He had stopped by to purchase a small piece of bread but had barely touched it. His trembling hands gave away the weight of his intentions. Isaac, unaware of the significance, had merely thought the boy looked troubled. As the hours passed, Isaac noted that the young man was not alone. Several other figures lurked in the shadows, their eyes darting anxiously across the street. The entire city seemed to be on edge, as if waiting for something inevitable to occur. Conversations in the shop were hushed, customers discussing the growing political unrest in whispers. Soldiers passed through the streets, their uniforms crisp but their faces betraying an underlying tension. Later that day, a sudden commotion shattered the eerie stillness. The sound of gunfire echoed across the bridge, followed by frantic screams. Isaac rushed outside, only to witness chaos unfold before him. People scattered, some running towards the scene while others fled in fear. News quickly spread. A royal figure had been shot, and Sarajevo would never be the same again. Bringing history to life. Emina clutched the diary, the inked words pulling her into the past. She imagined the city on that fateful day, a city alive with movement, its people unknowingly caught in the tide of history. She saw the cobbled streets bustling with merchants and vendors, the hushed conversations of diplomats, and the ever-present tension of an empire on the brink of war. As she traced the faded ink with her fingers, she could almost hear the distant echo of a gunshot, feel the ripple of fear that spread through the crowd, and see the expressions of those who had witnessed history in an instant. The diary was more than a record. It was a portal, a testament to Sarajevo's place in world history. Determined to honor these forgotten voices, Emina resolved to bring their stories to life. She would share the accounts of ordinary people swept up in extraordinary events, ensuring that their perspectives, fears, and hopes were not lost to time. With a newfound sense of purpose, She knew that the past was not just something to be studied, but something to be told, remembered, and kept alive for future generations. A city of hidden voices. Inspired, she decided to write about Sarajevo's hidden voices. She would tell the stories of its people, the craftsmen of Baskarsaja, the poets of Ferhadija Street, the survivors who rebuilt lives after the siege of the 1990s. Each of these individuals had a tale to share, a voice that history had often overlooked. She met with elderly artisans who still practiced centuries-old crafts, their hands skillfully shaping copper and weaving carpets just as their ancestors had. She listened to war survivors who recounted moments of both terror and resilience, their spirits unbroken despite the hardships they had endured. She sat with young poets who found beauty in Sarajevo's contradictions, expressing their hopes and dreams through verse. Emina understood that Sarajevo's true story was not just in its grand historical events, but in the daily lives of its people. The laughter of children playing in the old town, the musicians filling the streets with Sevdalinka melodies, the families who rebuilt their homes brick by brick after war had left them in ruins. Through her research and writing, she sought to capture these voices, ensuring they would not fade into obscurity. By preserving their experiences, she hoped to give future generations a deeper understanding of Sarajevo, not just as a city of conflict, but as a city of life, love, and resilience. A beacon of hope. As she stepped outside into the evening air, the call to prayer from Gazi Huzrev Beg Mosque blended harmoniously with the distant chimes of the Sacred Heart Cathedral. It was in that moment that Emina knew Sarajevo was not just a city of the past, but a beacon of hope for the future. She watched as people of different faiths and backgrounds strolled together through the streets, exchanging warm greetings. In the laughter of children playing near the fountain and the melodies of street musicians, she saw a city that refused to be defined by its struggles. Sarajevo was a place of endurance, a city that had weathered wars and divisions but had emerged with its spirit unbroken. Emina felt a renewed determination to ensure that Sarajevo's legacy was one of unity and resilience. Through her writing, she hoped to remind the world that even in the face of hardship, a city could stand as a testament to coexistence and renewal. Sarajevo, with its scars and its beauty, was living proof that history could forge hope, and that its people would continue to shape a future filled with promise.